It's the 19th of September, Sunday, going into week 32 of our renovations here in our French home. Now, my focus really is to get us into the house before the nights become too cold. So that means finishing off lots of little things in the bathroom, bedroom, and a lounge, salon, living room, whatever you want to call it. And also finishing up this corner cupboard. Now the house, it has lots of large spaces, lots of large rooms. It's all, wonderful with the high ceilings. But what it doesn't have is a lot of storage space. So we had our builder put in this corner cupboard, as you can see here. But I don't want it to look like it's brand spanking new. That's not going to be very much in keeping with the age of the house. So what I'm doing now is trying to give it a distressed, older look. Now for those that haven't distressed furniture before, it's not that difficult. It just requires patience and a lot of sanding, as it were. Usually it's 3, maybe 4 coats of paint and varnish. And that's all that's required. Last night I spent most of the evening putting on the base coat. I used a fairly inexpensive paint, this one right here, home base quick drying satin wood for wood obviously, or metal as it says on the tin, pure brilliant white. I used a very thin coat of it, and that's really one of the tricks to achieving a nice finished product is don't use lots of really thick strokes of paint, but thin coats of paint are the ticket here. Then this afternoon, after it's dried overnight, I went and I sanded it. And the idea is to start lifting it up. If you can see, the grains of wood are starting to come through. And that's a good thing. You want that. So you can start seeing a definition, a contrast of colors and textures. And that will all help towards the finished product. Now, one of the key tools that you can buy to help you in this process, you can do it, sand the furniture by hand, which I do, which, last night I did that before I painted it. But once you painted it, getting a little small hand sander is really actually very convenient, particularly maybe for us women. It's just less difficult in terms of the labor and your hand cramping and what have you. To have a small palm sander. Sometimes in the shops you'll see them called mouse sanders. I had one of those, and I used it so much it's now broken. But I still have lots of the sandpaper left over from my little mouse sander. Luckily it fits just fine on the new triangle shaped sander. And that's all you need. That does the trick. The next step in this process of distressing this corner cupboard will be to put on a dark shade of paint, and I will then do the whole thing all over again. I sand it down, this time while the paint is still somewhat wet. It hasn't completely dried, unlike with the base coat, which I allowed to dry overnight. And that helps you wear off more of the paint, because in this case, less is more. You're going to get a better finish. So stay tuned. I'll give you the next step as soon as I get finished. Hopefully it's going to be within the next week.